Good morning again. It's My. Are you ready to explore the Bible? We're back in Matthew chapter 5. And remember, we're talking about a sermon that Jesus preached to his disciples. And it was the Beatitudes. Okay? So the attitudes we talked about last time we were together were meekness and thirsting after righteousness and being merciful. Okay, those were a few of them, and being poor in spirit. Today we're going to talk about a couple more. So I want you to look at Matthew chapter 5, and we're going to start in verse 8. Verse 8, it says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." What does it mean to be pure in heart? If our heart is pure, it means we're not sinning. It means that we are right with God. It means that we've prayed and asked forgiveness for our sins. It's trying to be pure. It's trying to live righteously. And he says, if you're pure in heart, you shall see God. You know, someday we're going to get to see him physically. But there are other days when we can see everything he's done for us. And if we have a pure heart and we're always trying to look for God places, we will see him. Is your heart pure today? Have you asked him forgiveness for sin? Now, I'm not talking about asking him forgiveness and asking for salvation. If you've already done that, that is fantastic. But every day we need to ask him to forgive us for our sin. More than every day. Sometimes it's every minute of every day we have to ask him to forgive us from our sin. He wants us to seek that so that we have a good relationship with him. It goes on in verse 9 and it says, "Blessed are the peacemakers." What are peacemakers? Okay, so you're all together with your brothers and sisters, and there's a fight that breaks out. You can either join the fight and make it louder, make it crazier, make it worse, or you can be the peacemaker. The one that comes in and says, now wait, we got to stop. We got to see this. What happened? Who did it first? How can we take care of it? That's being a peacemaker. Instead of adding to the fight, adding to the arguments, adding to the frustrations, we come in and we help things go right. That's being a peacemaker. Have you ever tried to be a peacemaker instead of being the troublemaker? That's not a good title to have in your life. Oh, they're a troublemaker. Always looking for how they can get into trouble. Always looking for what they can do to make problems. But being a peacemaker is much harder. But let's see what happens. It says, "Blessed are the peacemakers," verse 9, "for they shall be called the children of God." Now, once we're saved, we are children of God. But people on earth will look at you differently if you're a peacemaker. They'll notice that you're different from the rest of the world. The world out there wants to make arguments. There are people that love to just make people frustrated. And we're supposed to be making peace. So, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Who's going to be called the children of God? Peacemakers. You might want to remember that. Oh, I'm making life too easy for you. Peacemakers will be called the children of God. Let's look at one more. It says in verse 10, it says, "Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Do you know what persecuted means? When people do the right thing, there are always going to be people in the world that want to persecute them and make fun of them and criticize them and ridicule them. That means just making their life miserable. Back years ago, though, if you were a Christian, you could be killed for your faith. That's true persecution, just for believing in God. So it says, "Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake." If you're doing things right and you're following God and people are making fun of you, or people are making your life bad, or worse yet, if they're trying to kill you and you're doing things for righteousness' sake, he says theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And heaven is so much greater than here on earth. And heaven is eternal. Here on earth, we're only here for a few years, really. I'm 59. Papa's 60. We may have 30 more years left to live. Wow. Maybe. I kind of doubt it. My parents died when they were 80. But you have grandparents and great-grandparents that were alive into their hundreds. Papa's grandmother was 104 when she died. But that's really short when you think about eternity. And this says that they that are persecuted for righteousness' sake will gain heaven. That's fantastic. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So I want you to remember today, pure in heart, they shall see God. Peacemakers shall be called the children of God, and the persecuted for the righteousness' sake, theirs is the kingdom of heaven. I hope you have a great day. I love you. Bye-bye.